Hey guys, welcome back to week 51 of the MIT Challenge, which is to learn MIT's four-year computer science curriculum in 12 months without taking any classes or even being enrolled at MIT. So it is the last week of the MIT Challenge, and I have two things that I need to finish before I'm completely done everything. I have to write the exams, even though I've done all the preparation for computation theory. This is a graduate course from Georgetown that I am taking as the last class of the MIT Challenge, and I need to finish up the final and sixth project of computer graphics. I have completed the machine vision exams, but I haven't marked it yet because it was a take-home exam, so I could work on it for as long as I want. And there were one or two questions that I didn't feel as confident with, so I'm hoping that if I have a little bit of extra time, I can work on some of the questions that I didn't feel as confident with and get better answers. But basically it's done and I'm ready to grade it whenever I need to. So I really just have those two things left to finish. So a big question I've been asked is, now that I'm done, or now that I've acquired this computer science knowledge, what am I going to use it for? And I have always liked doing entrepreneurial activities. I set up my own business, which, even though it's not a startup and it's not tech related, I've always really been fascinated with that world. But one of the things that's kind of scared me off is that I didn't have the real technical proficiency to try to build things. And so you can always hire other people. It's not saying that in order to work at a startup you need to be able to program or you need to be able to write computer code. But at the same time, I really like the ability to create quick prototypes and to build new things and experiment rather than have to hire someone else to do something and build an entire mock-up for me. And so one of the things that I'm looking forward to is using my newfound abilities to experiment with different business ideas or different technology ideas. And that doesn't mean that I'll necessarily work at a startup or even start one, because I already have a business that is doing quite well and it sustains my income and livelihood. But the ability to expand my experimental entrepreneurial activities away from just being able to do only information marketing and writing, but also to including technology and different applications, that's something that really interests me, and that's something that I'll probably be pursuing in the next 5-10 years. In addition to the practical side of why I decided to learn computer science, I'm also very interested in the subject itself. And the topic that interested me most doing this entire MIT challenge was artificial intelligence. So I did the artificial intelligence, which is a required class for the computer science focus, and I also did machine vision, which was a graduate class in computer science, sort of along the same lines of how do you teach computers in order to recognize objects and see things. And this is a subject that interests me immensely. It's also a subject that makes full use of the more advanced and more theoretical computer science concepts I was using, as opposed to, let's say, doing a web application or an iPhone app, which maybe doesn't require that much computer science knowledge. It requires mostly just some specific programming and technology skills. So artificial intelligence requires most of what I've learned in this program, and it's something that interests me immensely. So I plan to continue and further my understanding of this by trying to take more free courses on artificial intelligence, expanding my understanding of it, and hopefully also integrating that into my activities of working on projects that try to do interesting applications with artificial intelligence. Now, both of those, including my entrepreneurial activities and my more academic ambitions, neither of those are set in stone, so I don't know exactly how the specific skills that I've built up are going to unfold, but it's something that's opened my opportunities. It's opened up what I can do in terms of an entrepreneur and also as a student and as a learner. So this MIT challenge was an interesting experiment. It lasted a year, and it was a period where I was trying to approach as close as possible a facsimile of the MIT education, but using only their free material found online. And so in a certain sense, next week will mark the end of that. It will mark the end of that rigorous and very in-depth process of self-education. But really, it doesn't have to in the broader scheme of things. I had been taking classes online before this MIT challenge, and I know I'll be taking classes after I was done. If anything, doing this MIT challenge and doing it under these severe constraints has given me the confidence to learn a lot of things that I previously thought I wouldn't be able to learn outside of a classroom. They would just be too difficult, too technical, just too hard to start. And so I think of this less as the ending of my self-education experience, but more as the beginning, because even though I probably won't be trying to do a class per week and write under extreme time constraints and also extreme content restraints, I'm also going to be able to continue learning at my own pace for the next 10, 20, 30 plus years. So I don't see this as an ending. I don't see this as being a particularly remarkable point in time. It's just another transition into furthering my own self-education. So thank you for following me for this entire year. Next week, I'll be providing the final update to let you know if I finished everything for the MIT Challenge, and also just to review some of the progress that I've done over the last year. Thanks to everyone who's been following. I really appreciated both your comments and your insights, and also all the people who have been inspired or have been encouraged to really give self-education a try and to teach themselves things that they weren't thinking that they'd be able to do. That in and of itself has made it worth it for me. So thank you, and I'll be updating you guys with the final update for the MIT Challenge next week.